Hi everyone, welcome to Yogibods Fitness. So this is the 5th day of our 30-day yoga challenge. So for today's practice, we'll just be doing seated and lying down asana or yoga poses, and we'll be using the wall. Most of the time we'll be using the wall to open up the inner thighs or the hip muscles.
I'm alone, I'm a broken home. I gave you all the bricks that I own and know. I'm letting go, I'm breaking these walls down, breaking these walls down. If you want adventure, then fly to home. But if you wanna travel, then go alone. Yeah, what's the point in us if I never know? Yeah, if you're gonna leave, I'ma let you.
So let's start by lying down on the mat, and then we'll take the legs up against the wall, and then see that you connect your seating bones on the wall. So you go on your side, and then you just turn your legs up like leg raise. To see that your seat bones are connected with the wall. So here you just have to relax your hands. Stay here for a few breaths. Again, just connect to your breathing. You breathe in slowly and breathe out gently through your nostrils. So you hug your knees to your chest, flare the knees out, and take the soles of your feet together on a butterfly position. You push the thigh bones towards the wall, and the more you push the legs forward, the more you can feel the inner thighs stretching. Again, see that you push your seat bones against the wall as you draw your belly in or downward towards the floor to lengthen the lower back. And then slowly extend your legs one at a time towards the sides. So go as wide as you can. So you can pull your thighs down closer to the wall, and you can intensify the stretch here of your adductor muscles. You flex your toes, pull your toes and push the heels, and you can push the thighs forward to the wall. Or you can just simply relax and let the weight of your legs fall apart to stretch your inner thigh muscles. Again, just breathe in and breathe out. Notice if you don't feel anything on the inner thighs, then you have to pull your legs a little lower. But if you feel too much, then you have to just take the legs higher. Or maybe just micro bend the knees, okay, just to release the pressure on your leg muscles. Now slowly take your knees together and hug your knees again back to your chest. Now you cross your right thigh over the left, and then take your feet apart. So it's like your Bakasana or cow's head. You move your feet outward away from the hip, and then you can push your right hand or your right thigh with your hands forward. So the more you push the right leg forward, you can feel your right hip, the glutes stretching. For some, if you are not feeling enough stretch here, you have to take your feet upward and level it with your knees or your knees. So pushing the right thigh out, pushing the right seat bones towards the wall. And then to bring more stretch on the right hip, you figure four the right leg, place it over the left thigh, and then pull the left or bend the left leg. So see to it that when you bend the left leg, you're not lifting the hip this way. That will lessen the stretch on your right hip. So never mind if you cannot really bring the chest and the foot closer to the center. As long as your back is flat on the floor, then you can feel deep stretch on the right hip. You can resist the right knee with your right hand. And then release, just switch the legs, put the left thigh over your right, then take your feet, walk your feet outward, then you push the left leg, the top leg, forward towards the wall. Again, observe if you're not feeling any, then you have to put more effort. Also activate the inner thigh muscles. Imagine you're squeezing something between the legs. That will add more action on your hip and it will stretch deeper. Now release and figure for the left. Place it an inch or two above the knee joint. Again, flex your foot. Okay, flexing your foot will at least stabilize the knee joint so it will not torn. Then take your right foot, go lower inch by inch, and the moment you feel the hip begins to lift, you stop. It means that that's the maximum stretch for now. And then release the pose. Now take your feet again on the wall, hug your knees down to your chest, and then begin to walk your feet, heel to the feet out as wide as you can. So like doing the squat or malasana, you can pull your thigh bones down and see that you scoop your tailbone in and pull the navel downward. That will give more stretch here on the inner thigh muscles. See if you can take your feet more out and down towards the floor. Maybe you can take your hands or the elbows here, prayer pose, and that will give you more pushing action. You can push more your knees apart and stretch the inner thigh muscles. Also see that you ground your shoulders here, keeping the neck long. And then release by taking the knees towards the center. So the next one will be doing the warrior poses. Not warrior poses, just the warrior pose 2, triangle pose, side angle and reverse warrior pose. But we'll be staying on the wall, staying on the floor and keeping the legs on the wall. So you move away from the wall and then you position your right leg 90 degrees like you are in a warrior pose 2, and the left leg you extend it down. And you have to take your right foot a little bit higher. Remember that when you're in a warrior pose 2, your heel is in line with the arch of your foot. So check the arch of your foot and you have to place the heel in line with that arch. So here you can pull your hip bone, the hip bones down, and pull your navel down. That will intensify the stretch of your inner thighs. Also, you can pull your right thigh down here. So with the back and the hip pressed against the floor, you can feel deep stretch. Also see that your right knee and the right foot are at the same line. So pretty much the same how you align yourself in a standing warrior pose. Or you can extend your hands here if you want to the sides. So that's your option. What is important here is the stretch happening on the inner thigh muscles. Now we'll reverse the warrior pose. Now you just have to slide your hand down and the right hand up, but you have to move your body leftward. So squeezing through the left hip joint, and then don't let that right knee lift. So keep it in line with the heel. So squeeze your glutes to maintain that. Then the right hand over the head. So if you wish, in case you wish to have more stretch here on the right hip, all you need to do is to take the right hand and pull it up. So make sure to pull your arm up but keep it down or close to the floor. But in case you feel compression here, too much compression on your shoulder due to some tightness or injury, then you just have to extend the elbows up overhead. No need to side bend. So we'll go down to side angle pose. or Bakasana. So you lean your body over, you slide your chest down or the back down over your right thigh. So again, the easier version is the forearm resting on the thigh, the left arm extending over the head, and you're creating that one straight line from the left hand down to your left foot, and you can really feel this side of the hip stretching. So make sure to keep the back really flat against the wall. But for some who can bend or side bend more, you can extend your right hand here next to your foot, with your elbow resting on top on the inner side of your thigh. Okay, that will add more stretch here. To the left arm up. So continue extending the left arm and the left leg away from the hip. For the right arm, you can press the leg down if you want. And then return to the center. And then this time we'll go to Trikonasana or triangle pose. You push the hip or the wall to move your hip away from the wall. Now you have that triangle legs here. The right foot is pointing out and the left foot is pointing in. The hips are really flat. The 2 points of your hip are really even. Then begin to side bend, hinge from the right hip, and again slide your right hand down to your shin, gliding your back against or on the wall. Sorry, not on the wall, on the floor. And try to reach your right shin. For some, if you can go lower towards the foot, then you can take the foot. Then the left hand up or over the head, your choice. Or you can just simply keep it here on the hip, just to make sure that the hip doesn't lift. So keep your back and the hip flat on the wall, and just focus on your breathing. Now release. Again, take your back to the center. Then we'll do the same flow on the left side. So go down on your left leg or bend that left leg. Turn your right foot in. So about 30 or 45 degrees in. And then you see that you align the left heel with the arch of your right foot. So the first pose, warrior pose 2. Again, pull your hip joints down. And if you want to go deeper into the stretch, you can have more space and move your hip lower or closer to the wall. Again, option to take your hands here to the sides, or you just have to take it on your thighs or hip joint. So make sure to activate the right leg because sometimes it begins to lift when you feel tired, so push it forward. Now you bend towards the right thigh and sliding your back against the wall. Keep reaching that right hand down and then extend the left hand up. Again, another option to deepen the stretch of the side body is to pull the arm over the head, but keep pressing your shoulder blades down. And then release. We'll go to Bakasana or side angle pose. You lean over the left thigh and take the forearm on the leg, or you can take the hand close to your foot. Continue pushing down through the right heel, and the right hand can press the hip down or extend over the head. So you just have to feel if you're really stretching the body. If not, then you have to do something. You have to adjust the body in a way that you can stretch, find enough stretch on the inner thighs or the sides of the body without compromising form. So make sure the hip is not lifting up. It's pressed down, completely down against the floor. And then release. Again, come up and straighten the left leg. You just have to push the wall, move your hip away from the wall, and then again just keep the angle of your feet. Then you lean over the left thigh. If you can go lower without lifting the right hip, then feel free to do that. So don't remove your foot on the wall or your feet on the wall. Then you can extend your arm overhead or just keep your hand here on the waist just to check your hip if it's really fitted on the floor. Also try to ground your right shoulder, because sometimes as you attempt to go lower to the left, it begins to lift. And then release. Now you hug your knees to your chest. For a moment you stay here and just allow the inner thighs to release. You can roll side to side to release the back body. So turn to your right and then slowly come up. And we'll go to all fours. So position your palms below your shoulders and the knees below the hip. Then you slide your right leg to the side. So from here you come up and then turn your right foot out. Then push the hip down to your right side and move your hip as low as you can. So the lower you go down, the more you can feel this part of the leg, the inner thighs. Again, the forearm here on the thigh or the palm on the floor for deeper stretch. The left hand here, and just turn your left side body. Keep spinning the left side backward and squeeze your glutes to continue open your hip. And then coming up, going back to the floor, you straighten or slide your right foot out to the side. So I need to move to the other corner of the mat to have space. Now this one you have to slide your foot inch by inch toward the side. So again, the more you go down, the more you can stretch the inner thighs. If you feel enough stretch, then stay and take your forearms down on the floor. Now notice that you're not overarching the lower back. Pull your navel in. So doing that, pulling the navel in will intensify the stretch of your inner thigh muscles. So we'll stay here for 5 deep cycles. Well, you can stay for more, maybe 10 if you want to. And then release, have your hands again on the floor, and you just have to bend your right leg and you extend the left leg. So coming up, turn your left foot out and then push your knee, the hip down to the left. Take your hand on the floor for deeper stretch, right hand on the hip, and again spin your side body up. So keep bringing the hip in line with your foundations, the knee and the foot. But sometimes when you go down on the floor, the hip begins to pull backward and you lose some of the stretch. Now take your hands on the floor and then slide your left foot. Slide your foot again out. Continue pushing the legs sideways. And the moment you feel enough stretch on the legs, then take your forearms down and continue sliding or continue stretching the inner thighs. Again, 5 deep breaths here. Remember to breathe deep and slow. And if you feel more sensation on the inner side of the knee, here on the part on the knee joint, inner knee joint, then you just have to come up a little bit, meaning you've gone too far. So you just have to feel the inner thigh muscles. And then release, you take your legs together and just sit for a moment, just release your inner thigh muscles. The next one will push the knees outward. Both knees moving sideways. We'll be doing the Bakasana, and we'll push the hip forward like doing the up dog or cobra pose. So here you take your knees as wide as you can, but the toes, your big toes, are touching. So keep pushing your knees out and then walk your hands forward below your shoulders. So your knees and the hip are at the same line, Now you try to pull your navel in and push your sit bones down. So let me face the side so you could see it better. So here, as you push your knees apart, you push your hip forward and down like doing up dog or cobra. So your hip, if it's moved backward, you will not feel enough stretch. But when you move forward and down, you can feel maximum opening on your inner thighs. Also, don't let the lower back get jammed. So you have to pull your navel in and keep scooping your tailbone down. And then release by moving the hip down. And then slowly take your knees together. Now you sit and take your back flat on the wall. And then take your legs as wide apart as you can. So sit straight, flex your feet. Now from here you take your left foot with your left hand. And then pull your toe, extend your right hand over the head. So you have to feel the right side of your body stretching. And as you go lower towards the leg, you can intensify the stretch of your inner thigh and the hamstring. Now coming up, lift your chest and take the other foot with your right hand. So the left hand over your head. So for some, maybe you can go lower and reach the foot. As long as you keep your chest facing forward and not turning down towards the floor. Now you lift your chest. For the final pose, you take your hands or walk your hands forward. So you can just stay here on the forearms. If you're rounding the back too much just to take your hands on the floor, you just have to better to take your hands backward and sit upright. So the key here to feel the inner thigh stretch is to roll the hip bone forward. The pelvis should roll forward. In that way, you're not putting stress on your lumbar. Others who are really flexible, you can take your chest, your head down on the floor. So that's up to you. Well, make sure that you feel good on the stretch and you're not really struggling too much just to sustain the pose. And then walk your hands backward. And then take the soles of your feet. So before we lie down, we'll do this butterfly on the wall. So here you take your feet as close as possible towards the hip. Push your knees down. Actually, the inner thighs, you push the middle of your thighs down. Chest out. This is the easier version of the pose, but if you're more flexible, you can take your hands on the wall and you lift the chest. You use the wall to push your chest forward and down towards the feet. So the more you push or the more you go down, the more you can feel your inner thighs stretching. Also, make sure to squeeze in your glutes just to maintain the knees close to the floor. And then slowly come up. Draw your knees together. And then just windshield wiper the legs. And just to release or get rid of those discomfort that might be present on the hip joint. And then let's lie down. So as you lie down, just take the soles of your feet together, hands on your sides. You just have to relax your shoulders, relax your hip. Make sure to lengthen the lower back by scooping your tailbone forward and pulling your abdominal muscles down. Now just stay here for a few breaths. And then you take your knees together. Extend the legs forward. Rest your hands again on your sides and relaxed. So we'll stay here on this position for a few cycles of breaths, letting the body rest. So try to relax every part of your body, from head to your feet. As you relax the body, try to quiet your mind. So let go of any distractions. Now focus your attention to the gentle sensations of your breath. Observe and feel the inhales and the exhales. Now keep still and take a rest. Now begin to move your toes, your fingers. Then extend your arms upward. Again, exhale, you pull the knees to your chest. Shift to your right. And slowly come up. Again, thank you everyone for sharing your time and your energy with me today. So I hope you learned something that you could do on your own, or you enjoyed this type of flow. So even if it's really slow, I hope you guys enjoyed the practice. So I'll see you again next time. Namaste.